Hello, my name is Casey. I'm a flute player. I recently came across a really cool blog by Nathan Cole, and he's got this really great blog, and he was helping a bunch of violinists a while back who were preparing for a big New York Philharmonic violin audition. And he basically devised this entire like marathon program to get you in shape from like barely playing at all and just like doing rudimentary exercises to the day of the audition. And it's like a 14-week challenge. And I saw that and I thought that was really cool. And I recently bought a new head joint, and while it makes my life easier in a lot of really wonderful ways, I have about 10 years of old habits that I need to unlearn because I no longer need them. So I thought this would be a really great way to kind of get back in shape because it's the summer and I'm not doing a whole lot, as well as kind of learning the new tendencies that I have, getting used to what my head joint is capable of, while getting prepared in anticipation for a busy audition season in the fall. So today is the very beginning of the challenge, so I've been working for about a week. I had to adjust a few of the exercises to be kind of flute relevant because obviously this is all violin centric. Some of the exercises are for violin, and I did them anyway because I realized there were different benefits to them that were kind of weak points in my technique anyway, so I was like, hey, okay. So what he wanted for this first week was mostly just like a series of different etudes. So starting with just like, some scales and arpeggios just to warm up and get, things moving. And then he had you do Schreideck, Kreutzer, Don't, and then a little bit of Mozart at the end, just one of the Mozart concerti just to kind of start working on it. So I translated a few of these things. So the Schreideck I didn't do because it's all like left hand, like the thing is supposed to be just like one string, just like really focusing on your fingers. I was like, I can focus on my fingers other ways with, the granddaddy of all flute etude exercises, Taffanel and Gobert. So I worked this week just on Taffanel and Gobert number 1 and 2. I did these on flute and on piccolo because I'm anticipating doing a whole lot of piccolo in the fall. Today I'll just do it on flute because whatever. Followed by Kreutzer number 9, which is pretty much similar, it's just like slightly more difficult. To kind of work on things a little bit differently, I also focused on taking everything up the octave. I had to mess around with a few of the octaves anyway, but I took everything up the octave, I transposed it into a couple different keys, and then the don't exercises are trills. So I practiced them in a number of different ways. So I started really slow and kind of worked my way through things, kind of very methodically, making sure, and it was great because like a lot of it is just like ring finger trills and thumb trills, just like it just happened that way, like it's in that key where like it's a lot of this, which as we know, ring finger is like pretty much the least flexible finger. It doesn't like to go up and down alone, and unfortunately you need it to, especially on the right hand. So to top everything off, I wanted his all the participants in the violin challenge were doing spiccato exercises. I went the other way and I was like, let's do some air exercises and some intonation exercises because it's very different from what I was playing on for the last 10 years. So I did some Trevor Y. And to round it off, I just decided to go through some of my old etude books. So I'm going through Anderson Opus 15. So I might play a little bit of number 1 out of that. So this is basically what I was working on for the last week, a little bit more than a week. Things I decided to focus on because obviously Nathan really wanted the students and participants to be focused on left-hand technique and kind of just like keeping the bow really steady with the right arm. I decided to focus a lot on air making sure that everything is really, really smooth and that the tone color is super consistent throughout, especially going over the break, which was one of my really weak spots previously. So I was just working on that, keeping things in tune, because the pitch is very, very different. I have to adjust a lot less, and I didn't realize how much I was adjusting previously until I did this. Number 6, which is just trill exercises. So I practiced them in a few different ways. I did them quite slowly to make sure everything was even, and I did them as written, which was I did them a few different ways in anticipation for practicing Mozart, because the trills are kind of one of my weak spots in Mozart. I think a lot of people can agree with that. The trills are not the easiest thing to keep them all super consistent and graceful and effortless. So this is a great, fantastic exercise. So I did practice them kind of with like a resolution. So and so on. And obviously I just tried to get them, I did full trills as well, because they're kind of written with a grace note and mordents. So I did full-on trills, like did some Trevor Y exercises, which I will not demonstrate because nobody wants to hear me do decrescendos with the tuner. So next week, the focus is on Mozart. So I've chosen to do Mozart D, so I'll be playing the exposition of that, as well as, I mean, the violins, we're going to be focused on the Schumann Scherzo. So something comparable to that I could do was the Mendelssohn Scherzo. And to kind of round it off, I'm also going to be working on Carnival of the Animals, because they're both double tonguing exercises, and I kind of struggle with. So I will come back next week. I will be doing Mozart and some other stuff, and I will see you then.